How we all doing today? My name is David Gugino, and today I have a very good book review on a new book on probably one of my new favorite authors. I've read 3 of this guy's books, and this is a volume 1. This is a series. It's called How to Stay Motivated, Developing the Qualities of Success. So now I want you to listen what I have for you here. So, Developing the Qualities of Success and How to Stay Motivated, Volume 1, and this author is a very good Christian guy. He's done motivational speeches all around the world. He owns a business with his son, and he's owned this business for many years. Does stuff on sales, stuff on business, stuff on building character, and stuff on Christianity. And this author is Zig Ziglar. Now, Zig Ziglar that is his real name, by the way, Zig Ziglar. His son's name is Tom Ziglar. And he has nothing but truth when it comes to his books. And I really love what he says in his books. I love his stories. I love his examples that he uses. And I just really love his view on being successful in life. And one thing he says that I love the most is, if you can help people get to where they want to in life, people will eventually help where you want to get to in life. And I just love that saying so much, and that's what I live my life by, and I just totally agree with everything he says. So we're going to dive into the book here. So we got something at the beginning of the book, and the first chapter is planning and preparing and expecting to win. Now, listen to what he has to say here. Just listen to this. Major point number 1 is you do have a choice. You can do something now about your life, making it either better or worse. The choice is yours. Number 2 is this. It is not what is going on out there, a lot of what you cannot change. There is something you can do about you and your future, and that's what I want to talk about. It's not what happens out there that makes a difference in your life. It's what goes on between your own 2 ears. That's what makes a difference. The number 1 need we have in our society today is people who will accept responsibility. And that was said by Barbara Tushman, 2-time Pulitzer Prize winner. Now, I'm going to read that again. I'm going to read this quote again. The number 1 need we have in our society today is people who will accept responsibility. You ever think about that? We live in a society where no one will accept responsibility for what they do. I'm actually dealing with a coworker at my job who wants to get promoted, but he takes no responsibility and not showing up to work on time, not doing his job, not helping out on his overtime days. We won't dive into all of that. But taking responsibility for your actions is, a majority of the time, it is your fault. And yes, I make excuses all the time. When I fail a lift in the gym, when I had a powerlifting meet yesterday and I failed my 3rd squat attempt. I had a nerve issue in my rear end that was causing some flaring and some burning pain. And I did blame the failure on that, but in reality, it is still your fault that you failed. You should have gotten that looked at. I should have gotten it looked at. I found out about it 4 days out. You should have gotten it looked at. You should have told your trainer. And there are tons of examples, but just really think about that. A majority of everything that happens in your life is your fault, or just surrounded or at the center of you, if that makes sense. And I also just like what he says here. Major point number 1 is you do have a choice. You can do something now about your life, making it either better or worse. The choice is yours. With your job. If you do not like your job, you do not have to be there forever. Even if you've got a college degree, even if you got a college degree to do that job, you can find something else. There are many stories out there of people who have a college degree to get a job that they're supposed to get because they need this degree, and they hate it and they find something else they don't need that degree for. And the second thing is, it is not what is going on out there, a lot of what you cannot change. There's something you can do about you and your future, and that's what I want to talk about. It's not what happens out there that makes a difference in your life. It's what goes on between your own 2 ears. That's what makes the difference. It's what goes on in your head. Other people around don't care about other people around you. Your whole future is based on you, and you should be thinking about that every day. And you should be planning your future like nobody's business. People from high school, people from college, they don't matter. It is all about you, and it is about you choosing where you want to go in life. So think about that. Now, the second part that we have here in Zig Ziglar's book is, I like what he says here before I read the chapter. Survival is stability. Stability to success. Success to significance. And the chapter is motivation. The key. Motivation. The key to accomplishment. Now listen to what he has to say here about accomplishments and success. Listen to this. You know, there is something that can be said for both. My environment as a youngster was a depression environment. Survival was the issue of the day. Many of you are in survival mode. We want to move from survival first to stability, and from stability to success, and from success to significance. That is the purpose. But that's going to take growth. Growth is a lifetime prospect. Let me emphasize that when you get into these things, then you begin to think in terms of, I'm not the only fish in the pond. There are others, and I need to live with, work with, and encourage other people. That is also important. The way you go up in life is not just on your own efforts, but by what you can persuade others to do and teach others to do. You yourself have been helped by many people on many occasions. If you walk into my office today, you will see my wall of gratitude. There are 19 people there who had an impact on my life, and if you're honest and really reflect on it, you've had a lot of people who have really helped you in your life for you to move up. Like this old boy down home says, anytime you see a turtle on a fence post, you can rest assured that sucker didn't get there by himself. I like that. Now, I like what he says here. You see my wall of gratitude. Honestly, you have a lot of people in life to be grateful and thankful for. You might not think about it, because if you name someone you're grateful for, you might immediately say my dad, my mom. But what if someone asked you, name 10 people you're grateful for? People that you know, not like movie stars or people you haven't met. People that you know and have met. Well, I'm thankful for this friend and this friend. Then you ask them, why are you thankful for them? Well, they're nice to me. Well, what's something specific? So when you're specific about certain things, about your wall of gratitude, you realize that, wow, I'm surrounded by a very great group of people, and that God put me in a situation where I'm like not dealing with friends coming and going, or I'm not dealing with my friends not showing up for me. Because you're not the only fish in the pond. There are others, and I need to live with, work with, and encourage other people. So when you look at your wall of gratitude, it should really influence you to work with others and be thankful and grateful just around others. Like even people that you meet randomly, like in a store, in an airport, when someone helps you in an airport, a store, or even when you're traveling on vacation, someone just helps you. You're going to remember that person. You're going to be thankful for them. I had a very nice conversation with a powerlifter at my last, not this current powerlifting meet, but my last powerlifting meet, and I didn't do well in that meet, but I just remember driving home being like, wow, I had a really nice conversation with that guy. And then his friends came to this meet, and I just told them, I'm like, wow, how's he? And I just told them, I'm like, how's he doing? Is he doing alright? And they seemed shocked to know that I remembered him, because that's another thing. People love when you remember them. They don't think it's weird. You might think it's weird if you like just meet someone who did something nice for you and you get their name. It's not, obviously if you obsess over it, it's different, but if you remember someone's name, people love it when you remember their name. Like, they love it. It might sound crazy, but people may not care, but when they hear their name called twice, when they didn't have to repeat it to you and you didn't have to ask it, that's a pretty nice feeling. But really think about your wall of gratitude. I like what he says here. If you're honest and really reflect on it, you've had a lot of people who have really helped you in your life for you to move up. And I like what he says for you to move up. Moving up is perspective. Moving up as in, we'll use a job for example. I was able to hold a job because someone talked some sense into me. You were able to hold a job. You might not think it's a big deal, but think of the millions and millions, it's sad to say, millions of people that cannot hold a job. And hold a job as in they just don't show up. They continue to screw up because they don't care. Like people who just keep getting fired. And anytime you see a turtle on a fence post, you can rest assured that sucker didn't get there by himself. Did you ever think about that? Wherever you're at in life, if you said I did it on my own, nope, I am absolutely positive you did not get there by yourself. But really think about that. Your wall of gratitude, wherever you're at, you didn't get there by yourself, and you're not the only fish in the pond. And I'll also do like what he says here. Buy what you can persuade others to do and teach others to do. You yourself have been helped by many people on many occasions. So like persuade others and teach others to do what you do. Now the third and final part that we have of Zig Ziglar's book is we got some math here. This is some interesting math that I found very interesting. I found very intriguing, and I found quite haunting, as crazy as it sounds. So listen to what he has to say here. Listen to this in the chapter of Identifying the Qualities of Success. What are we feeding our young people today? In 1995, the typical 18-year-old has watched 17,000 hours of television, has listened to 11,000 hours of music, and has watched 2,000 hours of MTV or movies. This does not count telephone time. It does not count athletic event attendance. It does not count dating. It does not count riding around. Now, 30,000 hours of directly being entertained, and yet when you're around the house with the kids, the one thing you hear the most is, "I'm bored." Interesting. Isn't it? See, you can't entertain people for life. At some point, we have got to wean them and start teaching them responsibility. We've got to start teaching them that they've got some things they absolutely must do. They've got to learn on their own. You see, you can send your child through kindergarten, grade school, high school, college, medical school, have them serve an internship and a fellowship in less than 30,000 hours. Seems to me that's better use of the time. So what's crazy is I love what he says about that, because honestly, I loved the boredom when I was younger. I loved doing nothing. Now you might think, well, David, if you loved it, why didn't you just stay bored? Because notice that key word there, nothing. I liked doing nothing. Now, playing video games is nice, but think of that math there, 30,000 hours of directly being entertained. I think that math is higher up today. You have people today who are not showing up to their jobs to play video games all night and then make the excuse of like, yep, I was playing video games late at night. Or you have guys who go to work and then they'll just come home and play video games and that'll be their day. There'll be nothing productive or useful they're doing with their time. Because your time, and like Arnold Schwarzenegger says himself, and even with his lifestyle, he did not waste a single time in his life. He told himself, I'm not going to waste a single second of my life. He took acting classes, he worked construction, he was a bodybuilder, he trained hours a day, and he did not waste anything. Now, keep in mind, he didn't sleep a lot, but sometimes the trade-off is, if the trade-off is good enough, and it's a trade-off, it's either going to be good or bad, but if the trade-off is truly worth it, you will do whatever it takes, and I say whatever it takes. You will do a certain amount of what it takes to pursue what you want to do, because whatever it takes is kind of dumb. I mean, it can be dumb to an extent. But also, like Arnold said, no matter what you do in life, you have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose with what you do in life. And that 30,000 hours, most of the workday is 9 to 5. What if you spent 3 hours doing something like learning something or doing something productive? And since your day starts at 9, you could stay up till 10 or even 11 and spend 3 hours watching television, playing games, and having some downtime. But nowadays, that 30,000 hours, I think that's at least 40 or 50,000. Because you got so many people whose hobbies are just TV, video games, music, and not only that, but with streaming services, you have people pouring their paychecks in the streaming services and the gaming just to get by in life. When I say get by, just to be entertained in life. So, for this video, or for this book, is you're not the only fish in the pond. Other people are going through what you're doing. If you're struggling with 30,000 hours of video games or something, I'd say just take one day at a time. Because I know if you hate it, there's got to be someone out there that hates it. Take it one day at a time. And a lot of other people are going through what you're going through. But just plant in your head, you're not the only fish in the pond. There are other people going through what you're doing, and you have a choice, and the fish in the pond is supposed to help other fish in the pond. But I want to thank you all for watching. This will definitely be re-reviewed later in the future. And later also, as in probably in like 2 weeks from now, because right now I have no other books. I might reread something, but it all depends. But this is the Developing the Qualities of Success, How to Stay Motivated, Series Volume 1. It is Zig Ziglar's book. It's very good. I've read 3 of his books. He's a great author. I want to thank you all for watching, and you all have a great day.